Today, I want to talk about choices. And in this video, I'll touch on types of choices and the paradox of choice. But let me start out with a quote by Anne Frank. She said, "Our lives are fashioned by choices. First, we make choices, and then the choices make us." And I think that is so profound because to live is to choose. On the most basic level, the power of choice is one of those things you can never really take from a person. You can restrict the person, restrict their freedom, etc., but you can't really take away that power they have to choose how to respond, for example, to choose their attitude. You can't take that from a person. I feel like choice is a superpower that we should all harness and use it to better our lives. So let's talk about the types of choices. Now, when I say types of choices, it's just a way to classify. So there are major choices and minor choices. Many people think in terms of major choices. They think, okay, I need to choose a partner, I need to get married, where do I live, what jobs do I do, what career path do I pursue, etc. These are bigger choices. These are the things that really set the direction or the tone for your life over a period of time, maybe short term or long term. But people fail to realize the minor choices they make every day. Like what to do when I wake up. What's the first thing I should do when I wake up? Like what food should I eat? What color of dress should I wear? How should I appear? Should I do 10 minutes of exercise or spend that time on social media, for example, or reading a book? These are minor choices. And when we think about the types of choices, it kind of highlights the power of choice in different ways. So think about the major choices, the big decisions. Those are decisions that kind of determine the direction you're going in a major way. So they can shift your direction so rapidly. I'll give you an example. If you decided to study engineering or go into the sciences, that's a better option. By choosing to go into the sciences, it already determines the kind of subjects you're going to take. It determines the kind of challenges you're going to face. Compared to if you decide to choose the arts, for example. Now, that's a major choice. Another one is who to marry. If you decided to marry someone from your country, for example, or from a different country, it determines the cultures you need to learn. It just changes your life in a very big way. Now, what many people don't realize is that the minor choices also determine your direction, but in a very subtle way. So, for example, if I woke up and decided the first thing I'm going to do every morning when I wake up is to do 10 reps of some sort of exercise. Now, the first day I do the 10 reps and I look at myself, nothing has really changed. I'm still the same person. I'm just a little bit more stressed or tired, whatever. But when I consistently do that over the next 3 months, then I realize that, oh, the fat around my tummy has started to reduce. Oh, I'm having more mobility in my shoulders, and it has set a direction for me, but in a very subtle way.
I feel like people should endeavor to focus on the minor choices they make. Because, first of all, this is the best place to practice decision making in the minor choices. When you are able to consistently make good choices in the minor things, you're building your ability to make good choices overall.
People focus on who should I marry, and they want to get it right on who should I marry, or what city should I live in, which city should I live in, and they want to get it right on that, which car should I buy. But if you've not practiced well enough on determining how you show up every day, what dress do I wear, or what kind of food should I eat, if you've not practiced well enough in making right choices in those minor ones, the likelihood of making a good choice in the major ones is low. The probability is low, So I think that's the first thing I want to talk about in types of choices. The second thing is the paradox of choice. And this is something I learned recently in a more structured way, but intuitively I've always known this. The paradox of choice is that when you present people with many choices, it becomes more difficult to make a choice. And think about it. If you just had to choose between, for example, rice or beans in terms of what to eat, it's pretty easy to say, I'm feeling beans today and I'll just eat beans, or I'm feeling rice today, I'll eat rice. But imagine you had a buffet set in front of you and then you're supposed to choose of all these different meals, which one do you want? That's going to be a little bit harder to make that decision. And in this case, we're not assuming you can mix foods. So you're just going to choose one dish and then you had like 10, 15 dishes in front of you. And then you look at it and like, oh, well, I like meat, but I also want some salad, but I also want... And it becomes a little bit harder to make a decision when you have 10 options versus when you had 2. Now, this is a very trivial example, but it's just to drive home a point. Many people are stuck or they feel powerless because they are offered too many choices, sometimes too many for their own good. Online today, you can find, if you wanted to learn maybe data analytics, you can find 1,000 organizations offering some sort of data course. And imagine if you wanted to choose, okay, which is the best data course for me out of this 1,000? You'll just spend so much time not making a decision. The same thing that happens to me every time I try to change a phone and I'm trying to buy a new phone. And then there's all the specs, or any tech device in general. There's all the specs and you're like, okay, so which one do I go for? It's actually something, this is like a side note, but big companies are actually using this as selling strategies. It's one of the strategies for selling. So you provide options, but then you don't give all the options the person might need in the base version, for example. And then you tell them, if you just added this one, then you pay a little more and then you get this option. And it's a totally different conversation, but just in that point of choice, I think it's choice pricing, if I'm correct, but I deviate. Now, the wisdom here is to allow yourself filter out your choices as much as possible so that you don't have to spend so much effort in making a good choice. I'll give you an example. I've heard that some CEOs or tech founders decide to wear just one choice of t-shirt every day, and so it drastically cuts down the effort they need to make in deciding what should I wear today. I've also heard like some presidents, maybe President Obama, for example, has a certain set of looks he has for his suit, so he doesn't have to worry what color of suit do I wear this morning or things like that. The wisdom there is cut down your choices to your most preferred options, and then you drastically limit the amount of effort you have to put into making a choice. So those are two things that I think about when I think about choice, and this is what I learned on the 13th of April. Thank you for watching.